Ever found yourself scrolling through YouTube late at night, looking for something that will genuinely send shivers down your spine? Well, you are in for a treat. Today, we are diving into 10 mind-bending thrillers you can watch right now on YouTube for free. These are not your typical Hollywood blockbusters. These are hidden gems, psychological masterpieces, and forgotten classics that will mess with your head in the best way possible. So grab your popcorn, turn down the lights, and let us explore these must-watch flicks that prove YouTube is a treasure trove for thriller enthusiasts. Ready to have your mind blown? Let us get started. Number 1. Carnival of Souls, 1962. First up is the hauntingly atmospheric Carnival of Souls, 1962, a psychological horror film that will leave you questioning reality itself. The story follows Mary Henry, a young woman who survives a tragic car accident, only to be plagued by mysterious visions and an eerie connection to an abandoned carnival pavilion. As she tries to rebuild her life in a new town, she finds herself increasingly drawn to the decrepit carnival and pursued by a ghoulish figure who seems to appear whenever she is alone. Made on a shoestring budget of just $33,000, this film has developed a cult following for its surreal imagery and unsettling atmosphere. While it received mixed reviews upon release, it now holds a 7.5 out of 10 rating on Internet Movie Database and is praised by critics like Roger Ebert for its dreamlike quality and innovative cinematography. What makes this film truly special is how it creates a sense of dread through suggestion rather than explicit horror. The film's black and white photography and disorienting sound design create a nightmarish landscape that blurs the line between the living and the dead. Director Herc Harvey's only feature film, Carnival of Souls, has influenced countless psychological horror films and remains a masterclass in creating terror through atmosphere and psychological unease rather than jump scares. Watch here. Hyperlink. Number 2. Dead on Arrival, 1950. Next up is the brilliantly tense Dead on Arrival, 1950, a film noir with a premise so clever it will keep you hooked from the very first scene. The film opens with accountant Frank Bigelow stumbling into a police station to report his own murder. He has been poisoned with a slow-acting toxin and has only hours to live. What follows is a desperate race against time as Frank frantically retraces his steps to find out who killed him and why before his time runs out. Edmund O'Brien delivers a tour de force performance as the desperate protagonist, perfectly capturing the panic and determination of a man literally living on borrowed time. The film holds an impressive 7.8 out of 10 rating on Internet Movie Database and has been selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry due to its cultural significance. What makes Dead on Arrival so compelling is its innovative narrative structure and relentless pacing. The ticking clock premise creates an incredible sense of urgency that never lets up, and the film's high-contrast lighting adds to the sense of impending doom. Director Rudolph Matte's background as a cinematographer is evident in every frame, creating a visually stunning noir that influenced countless films with its race against time concept. It is a must-watch for any thriller enthusiast who appreciates clever storytelling and nail-biting suspense. Watch here. Hyperlink. Number 3. Detour, 1945. Prepare for a journey into darkness with Detour, 1945, a film noir that delivers a cynical punch far beyond its modest 68-minute runtime. The story follows Al Roberts, a world-weary New York nightclub pianist who decides to hitchhike to Los Angeles to reunite with his girlfriend. His ill-fated journey takes a dark turn when he accepts a ride from a charismatic bookie who mysteriously dies, leaving Al to make a fateful decision. He soon picks up a venomous, calculating femme fatale, Vera, who blackmails him into a life of crime. This low-budget masterpiece is a masterclass in minimalist storytelling, with a bleak atmosphere and fatalistic voiceover narration that perfectly captures the noir genre's essence. Despite its humble origins, the film holds a remarkable 7.5 out of 10 rating on Internet Movie Database and has been selected for preservation in the National Film Registry. What makes Detour so special is how it creates maximum impact with minimum resources. Director Edgar G. Ulmer transforms budgetary limitations into artistic strengths, using shadows, mirrors, and inventive camera angles to create a world of moral ambiguity and psychological torment. Tom Neal's portrayal of Al as a man trapped by circumstances beyond his control is both sympathetic and pathetic, while Anne Savage's Vera is one of cinema's most terrifying femme fatales. It is a raw, gritty, and deeply pessimistic vision of fate that will stay with you long after the credits roll. Watch here. Hyperlink. Number 4. Shock, 1946. Next up is the psychologically twisted Shock, 1946, a film that proves Vincent Price can send shivers down your spine without even playing a traditional horror villain. The story follows Janet, a woman who arrives in San Francisco to reunite with her husband after World War II, only to witness a murder that sends her into a state of catatonic shock. She is taken to a private psychiatric hospital run by the seemingly benevolent Dr. Cross, unaware that he is the very man she saw commit the crime. What follows is a tense cat-and-mouse game as Cross tries to keep Janet sedated and silent while maintaining his facade of respectability. Price delivers a chillingly subtle performance as the doctor who must balance his professional duties with his criminal secrets. The film holds a solid 6.9 out of 10 rating on Internet Movie Database and has gained appreciation among film noir enthusiasts for its clever premise and tense atmosphere. What makes Shock so compelling is how it transforms the supposed safe space of a hospital into a prison of psychological torment. Director Alfred L. Worker creates a sense of claustrophobia and helplessness that mirrors Janet's mental state, making viewers question who they can trust. The film explores themes of post-war trauma and the fine line between sanity and madness, all while delivering a satisfying thriller that keeps you guessing until the very end. It is a hidden gem that showcases Price's versatility beyond his horror typecasting. Watch here, hyperlink. Number 5. The Red House, 1947. Step into the haunting world of The Red House, 1947, a psychological thriller that blends noir sensibilities with gothic horror elements. The story centers on Pete, a young man living on an isolated farm with his sister Ellen and their guardian. The stern and mysterious Pete Morgan, played brilliantly by Edward G. Robinson. When Pete hires a local teenage girl, Meg, to help with chores, curiosity leads them to explore the woods, despite Morgan's warnings to stay away from a decrepit, abandoned red house. As they dig deeper into the mystery, they uncover dark secrets that threaten to unravel Morgan's carefully constructed world. The film holds a 6.8 out of 10 rating on Internet Movie Database and has developed a cult following for its unsettling atmosphere and psychological depth. What makes The Red House so effective is how it builds tension through suggestion rather than explicit horror. Director Delmer Daves creates a sense of dread through atmospheric cinematography, eerie sound design, and Robinson's nuanced performance as a man haunted by his past. The film explores themes of guilt, repressed memory, and the darkness that can lurk beneath seemingly ordinary surfaces. Its dreamlike quality and psychological complexity make it a fascinating precursor to later psychological thrillers, and its influence can be seen in everything from The Shining to Twin Peaks. It is a haunting film that will linger in your mind long after you have watched it. Watch here. Hyperlink. Number 6. Dementia 13, 1963. Next up is Dementia 13, 1963, a gothic horror thriller that marks the feature directorial debut of a young Francis Ford Coppola. The story takes place in a gloomy Irish castle, where the dysfunctional Halloran family has gathered for a memorial. When an axe-wielding killer begins picking off family members one by one, secrets and greed bubble to the surface. The plot is driven by Louise, an American wife who is trying to manipulate her way into the family fortune by faking communication with the family's deceased daughter. While it may have a modest 5.5 out of 10 rating on Internet Movie Database, Dementia 13 is a fascinating piece of film history and a fun, spooky ride for horror enthusiasts. What makes this film special is its place in Coppola's career, made for producer Roger Corman on a tiny budget. It shows early signs of the directorial talent that would later create The Godfather and Apocalypse Now. The film blends gothic horror elements with psychological tension and a touch of slasher film aesthetics that would become more popular in later decades. Its atmospheric setting, creepy sound design, and twisty plot make it an entertaining watch for fans of classic horror. Despite its limitations, Dementia 13 demonstrates Coppola's ability to create mood and tension, making it a must-watch for film buffs interested in the early work of one of cinema's greatest directors. Watch here, hyperlink. Number 7, Impact, 1949. Prepare for a revenge thriller with a twist in Impact, 1949, a film noir that takes the genre in unexpected directions. The story follows Walter Williams, a successful and kind-hearted businessman who is tricked by his wife and her lover into going on a business trip. Along the way, the lover tries to murder Walter by staging a car crash and pushing the car off a cliff, but Walter survives. Rescued and nursed back to health, he emerges with a new face and a new identity, presumed dead by everyone who knew him. He then uses this second chance at life to meticulously and ingeniously plot his revenge from the shadows. The film holds a solid 7.2 out of 10 rating on Internet Movie Database and won an Academy Award for Best Original Story. What makes Impact so unique is how it subverts typical noir conventions. Rather than focusing on a hard-boiled detective or a cynical anti-hero, it centers on an everyman pushed to extraordinary circumstances. The film explores themes of identity, betrayal, and the satisfying art of a long-con revenge scheme. Director Arthur Lubin creates a compelling narrative that balances suspense with emotional depth, and Brian Donlevy's performance as Walter/Warren captures both the vulnerability of a victim and the determination of someone seeking justice. It is a clever, character-driven thriller that offers a fresh take on the revenge narrative. Watch here, hyperlink. Number 8. The Stranger, 1946. Next up is The Stranger, 1946, a gripping film noir directed by and starring the legendary Orson Welles. The story follows Mr. Wilson, an investigator from the United Nations War Crimes Commission, who is hunting for the infamous Nazi fugitive Franz Kindler. His trail leads him to a quiet Connecticut town where Kindler has assumed a new identity as a respected professor, Charles Rankin, and is about to marry a Supreme Court justice's daughter. What follows is a tense cat-and-mouse game as Wilson tries to expose Kindler without alerting him to the investigation. The film holds a respectable 7.4 out of 10 rating on Internet Movie Database and was nominated for an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. What makes The Stranger particularly significant is that it was the first Hollywood film to incorporate footage of Nazi concentration camps, adding historical weight to its fictional narrative. Wells's performance as the charming yet monstrous Rankin is chilling, and the film's tension builds masterfully towards a climactic confrontation in a clock tower. While perhaps not as acclaimed as Wells's masterpieces like Citizen Kane or Touch of Evil, The Stranger showcases his mastery of atmosphere, moral ambiguity, and suspense. It is a compelling and thought-provoking watch that combines the thrills of a noir with the moral urgency of a post-war reckoning with evil. Watch here, hyperlink. Number 9. Bluebeard, 1944. Step into the dark and twisted world of Bluebeard, 1944, a psychological thriller that combines film noir with elements of gothic horror. Set in 19th century Paris, the film stars the uniquely unsettling John Carradine as Gaston Morel, a celebrated puppeteer and painter with a dark secret. He has a habit of marrying young women who then promptly disappear. When a young art student named Lucille becomes his next target, she begins to suspect the truth about his past lovers and starts digging into his life, putting herself in grave danger. The film holds a 6.1 out of 10 rating on Internet Movie Database and has developed a cult following for its atmospheric storytelling and Carradine's memorably eerie performance. What makes Bluebeard so fascinating is how it blends the familiar noir trope of the mysterious, dangerous man with elements of fairy tale horror. Director Edgar G. Ulmer creates a visually striking film that uses shadow, light, and expressionistic set design to create a world of psychological unease. Carradine's performance is a masterclass in subtle menace, creating a villain who is both a refined artist and a cold-blooded killer. The film explores themes of artistic obsession, misogyny, and the darkness that can lurk beneath a cultured exterior. It is a wonderfully atmospheric and slightly grotesque character study that will appeal to fans of offbeat cinema and psychological thrillers. Watch here, hyperlink. Number 10. Invisible Ghost, 1941. Finally, we have Invisible Ghost, 1941, a classic old dark house thriller starring the iconic Bela Lugosi. Lugosi plays Charles Kessler, a seemingly gentle and wealthy man who is haunted by the disappearance of his wife years earlier. However, a series of gruesome murders begins to plague the town, and it becomes clear that Kessler is involved. The twist? He falls into a trance-like state whenever he sees a woman who looks like his wife, and in this state, he commits the crimes. The invisible ghost is the memory of his wife, who, as it turns out, is not actually dead, but is being kept hidden by the gardener. The film holds a 5.3 out of 10 rating on Internet Movie Database, and is a perfect example of the spooky, atmospheric thrillers Lugosi was making for Monogram Pictures during this period. What makes Invisible Ghost so entertaining is its wonderfully bizarre plot and Lugosi's hypnotic screen presence. While the science may be questionable and the logic occasionally shaky, director Joseph H. Lewis creates a genuinely spooky atmosphere that makes the most of its limited budget. The film is a fascinating time capsule of the horror genre's evolution between Universal's classic monster movies and the psychological horror that would emerge later in the decade. Lugosi's performance as the tormented Kessler showcases his ability to be both menacing and sympathetic, making him a complex anti-hero rather than a straightforward villain. It is a delightful piece of B-movie bliss that will appeal to fans of classic horror and convoluted mysteries. Watch here, hyperlink. And there you have it, 10 mind-bending thrillers you can watch right now on YouTube for free. From psychological horror to film noir, these hidden gems offer a glimpse into cinema's rich history of suspense and mystery without costing you a dime. We have journeyed through haunted carnivals, desperate races against time, and dark psychological landscapes that will stay with you long after the credits roll. So why wait? Dive into these masterpieces, experience the thrill of being genuinely surprised, and let us know in the comments which movie messed with your head the most. Did you discover a new favorite, or did you find yourself sleeping with the lights on? Don't forget to subscribe for more great content, and share this list with fellow thriller enthusiasts who need a good mind-bending movie night. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your journey into the wonderfully weird world of classic thrillers.